Today is the day that I answer all your questions truthfully and to the best of my ability. The first question is, there's a lot of questions. This is just the first one I put on the list, is how do I find all the houses that I rent? And if you are new here, gosh, you guys, how many houses have I lived in the last 6 years? Let me think. Casper, which is up on the Northern California coast near Mendocino, and Reno, South Reno, right by Lake Tahoe. Then I went to Aiken, South Carolina. Then I rented a place in the Villages in Florida. I love Florida. And then I went to Redmond, Oregon. And now I'm here in Northern California, in the foothills of the Sierras. So is that seven places? Sorry, it's hard to talk when you're putting on lip liner. I find them on Zillow. Most of the places I found on Zillow. I think the place in Casper, up on the Mendocino coast, which is total hippieville, a whole lot like here. I might have found that on Facebook or something like that because it's a different culture in that community. It's not really a Zillow kind of culture. And my landlord there, he was funny. They didn't do a credit check or standard application. They sat down and had a little interview with me, like what kind of person I was. So that was different. So I find them on Zillow. If you haven't used Zillow before, it is an online platform for houses that are for sale. But they also list rentals there. And I'm pretty sure I found every rental except, well, Reno. Reno was different because that was an apartment complex. So I just looked at different apartment complexes near the area I wanted to live in because I wanted to be really close to where I like to kayak in Lake Tahoe, which is Sand Harbor. So the place that I had in South Reno, it was literally 25 minutes from my front door to the entrance to the park where I liked to kayak. And I just, went to that apartment complex and they were brand new at that time and it was great. So Zillow girls, that's where you can find the good stuff. As I mentioned, if you've been following me for a while, even for a little bit, it is my ultimate intention, at least right now, it's a little crazy in the world right now, so who can say anything for sure, to eventually buy a home in this area, which is kind of funny because I was born and raised not very far from here, and I raised my daughters not very far from here. So while I've never lived in this community, it's really familiar to me because, I'd bring the girls up here when they were younger and I'd come do things with my girlfriends. Feels very familiar. And the other thing that is really a plus for me is I can get up to Lake Tahoe in about an hour and a half. I'm a rabid, fanatical kayaker, and that's my deal. So I can get up there and go kayak. In addition, there are a couple of lakes in this area that I haven't kayaked them before, but I'm definitely going to be taking a look at them in order, to have really local kayaking on the days that I don't want to go all the way up to the lake. But even still, there's lots of options open for me as far as getting up to Lake Tahoe goes, because I could rent an Airbnb for a couple of days, a few times a month and get up there, or I could just go up there for the day. I could have someone, take Lucy out during the day if she doesn't go with me. So this is a good location for me. Someone asked, what size house are you looking to buy? Are you thinking about? And that's a tricky answer because, you never really know it until you see it. But I do know because my place in Oregon was so big, it was 3,000 square feet, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-story. I mean, it was way too big for one person. I've learned that that's way too big for me. So I'm thinking right now, I would like a little bit of land, maybe about an acre, which I think would be plenty for me to take care of. And then a smaller home, like 12 to 1,500 square feet. However, what would be ideal is to have a separate little unit like one of those barn-dominiums or a converted garage or maybe a small ADU. That would be kind of my studio for whatever it was I was into at that time. I could do vegetable starts in there, I could do yoga in there, I could film in there, I could do any kind of crafts in there, so that would definitely be a plus. I have learned over the course of renting all these houses that you really can get too big. You can get too small too. So there's a sweet spot in between, and I think for me that's about 1,200 to 1,500 square feet with an outdoor studio. The next question was, what did I do with all my stuff from the 3,000 square foot house in Oregon? And that's a good question. When I moved into the Oregon house, and if you missed that, or if you're new here, I'll have some videos listed down below. My goal, and I accomplished it with the Oregon house, was to thrift everything secondhand. It was just kind of a little personal challenge to see if I could do it. It was really, really fun. And I'll tell you, I was so surprised at the incredible pieces that I found. I mean, I found a copper top table at a thrift store for $100. Copper top table. It was amazing. So I thrifted everything in that house with the exception of my mattress. And there might have been one other thing that was specific. It's not coming to mind right now. And I went to thrift stores and Facebook Marketplace. I found so many really, really gorgeous pieces, which really made that house really very, very interesting and pretty because they were all unique and really cool. They weren't cookie cutter kind of pieces. Well, when it turned out that I had to leave, I turned around and sold everything on Facebook Marketplace. And you might be asking, gosh, how can you do that? How can you go and spend all the money and furnish a house and then just turn around and sell everything and leave? How can you afford that? Well, the reality is that I ended up making more money, just about more money. If it wasn't a few $100s more or even more than that, I definitely did not lose money in that house. Here's an example. The bedroom set, which I picked up at a yard sale in the community I was living in, was a mid-century modern bedroom set that was in pristine condition. I'm telling you, some of the drawers, there never had anything in them. I had a dresser, 2 nightstands, a mirror over the dresser, and what else? And that was it. So the 2 nightstands, the dresser, and the mirror. That was the bedroom set. And the people that were selling it had inherited the house from a relative. And that bedroom set had been in the guest bedroom and had barely ever been used. I mean, it was just so clean. They didn't realize how popular MCM furniture is. They just wanted to get rid of everything because it was a lot. I ended up picking up that bedroom set, I think, for like $45 for everything. The dresser, the mirror, the nightstands. Gorgeous set. It was so very pretty. Well, I turned around and sold it for $650. So you can see, if you are interested in thrifting or buying secondhand, you can often buy some really beautiful pieces at great prices. So that wasn't a unique situation when I turned around and sold everything. The couch, that gorgeous leather couch, that was so much fun. I actually found that in a thrift store with my daughter, Heather, who's editing this video right now. Hi, honey. We were together and we found this couch. I think it was $100. Was it $100, Heather, or $125? It got delivered. I paid him $40 to deliver it. And oh my gosh, I was so kind of disappointed when it got delivered because it was a lot more faded in areas. You could see it had been sitting in the sun. And I didn't notice that when it was in the thrift store. The lighting wasn't that good, and I probably didn't do my due diligence, but I ended up recoloring that couch with a little leather coloring kit. It was a lot of work. I won't kid you that it wasn't. It was like 6 hours of work to do that. It came out fabulous. So gorgeous. Heather, if you can find a picture of that, go ahead and put it up there. I don't know if we still have them or not. It was gorgeous. And it looked like new. That couch was in such good condition, other than the leather had been faded in some areas. And when I recolored it and then I put leather conditioner on it and that whole thing, it came out so gorgeous, so pretty. And I ended up selling that for quite a bit more than I paid for it. So that was just the story. I did not spend a lot of money and then throw it away. I spent a little bit of money and I ended up making more when I ended up moving and letting everything go. The next question is about the tiny living that I'm doing right now. I moved into a 400 square foot, tiny little hobbit cottage. And someone says, well, what do you do for a closet? And it's right back here. So this is my closet here in this little house. I actually had one of these when I lived in the Casper, right on the Northern California coast. Remember that place, you guys? It was a little studio right overlooking the Pacific Ocean. I had one of these there too. This is just a little unit that snaps together just like those little modular shelves that you can get. And this was actually already here, which I was kind of tickled about because I was going to buy one. They had it broken down into a different configuration and stuffed in a closet, hall closet, which is right behind it. And what I did was I pulled it out and I changed the configuration to fit my clothes. And everything I have is right there. Now, when I say everything I have is right here, these are my cold weather or winter clothes. I actually have my summer clothes boxed up in that closet right around the corner there. So these are my winter clothes. I could not fit my summer clothes in here too, and I really wouldn't want them here. You can see I've got room for shoes. I've got room for, cozies and jammies, and then the clothes that I wear every day are hanging, and then I have a little bit of folded storage up top. So I really do have plenty of room here. Those are not all my shoes. I actually have a shoe rack. Here, hang on, let me show you that. So this is a shoe rack I have inside that hall closet door where I've put my summer shoes. So I still have plenty of room in this. I have a few things packed away. So plenty of room, and I also could use this for things other than shoes. There's certainly pockets that could be useful. The next question is about laundry. And oh my gosh, you guys, I am lucky that I do have laundry in this tiny little closet. Now this is going to look bigger on camera than it actually is in person. And you can see I have it stuffed to the gills. So that's a little apartment size laundry unit, which is so stinking handy. I'm so glad I have that. Going to the laundromat, you know, it's wonderful that we have that option. It's just a little bit more of a hassle. This closet has been useful. You can see I've got a lot of things on the shelf up there. I ended up buying this rack over here where I keep a lot of my coats and belts and other items. And then this little storage drawer set right here was here when I moved in, and it has skincare and makeup and all kinds of just little household things. And then over here, this little unit has my vitamins and supplements and that sort of thing. So yes, I do have a laundry, and I'm thrilled about that. One of you asked if I'm going to be doing any more makeup videos. And most of you, or some of you, will know that's how I started my channel. I was 62 going on 63, and oh my gosh, you guys, I looked terrible. My skin looked terrible. I looked terrible. I had just gone through a really tough time personally. So you know how stress and grief and that sort of thing can just impact the way you look, and that definitely, I was one of those. This is a picture of what I looked like when I started my channel. That was about 6 years ago, and I thought, I wonder if I can fix my face or at least improve it. But one of the things I didn't want to do is I didn't want to go get a facelift or do all that Botox and stuff. Not that people can't do that. They can. Everybody gets to do what they want to do. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And I thought, I wonder if I can fix my skin, and I wonder if I can do it affordably at home with just at-home products and devices. That was kind of the question I was looking to answer when I started my channel. And so I launched into that. I knew nothing about skincare, you guys, nothing. I had never done skincare. I didn't know anything about it. So I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, but along the way I sort of figured things out. And long story short, I'll throw up a couple of pictures of my progress, you know, over those years. Now I'm 6 years into it, and I feel like, gosh, we answered that question. I think that you really can do a whole lot for your skin just with very affordable products at home. You know, you don't have to go and get a facelift. If you want to do that, you go, girl. Everybody gets to make their own choices. So I did a lot of skincare and makeup videos in the beginning of my channel. It was a lot of fun. We learned a lot along the way. I certainly did. I hope that it was helpful for you too. Now I'm just feeling like I'm sort of in a different place in my life. We're all a little bit older. I may be doing some makeup videos at some time. Who knows? Right now, I just am sort of talking about life and what it's like getting older and things that we can do that are fun and interesting and worthwhile. So the answer is, you know, probably here and there. Will I ever only be doing makeup videos? I don't know. I kind of sort of doubt it, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, look at what's going on the planet right now. Does anybody know what's going to happen? I sure don't. But thank you for watching anyway. If you just like the makeup videos, I hope you find the other things I talk about fun and interesting. Look at this hydrangea bush right here. That thing's going to be a beast come spring and summer. I actually was going to prune it. It's right by the walkway right there. And then I saw a video that said, wait until the spring to prune it. So I'm going to have to get like a little saw, little landscape saw, and take that down to just sort of the main stalks right here. It's going to be gorgeous come spring or summer. Right now it looks a little sad, but I'm excited about what it's going to be. So right now I want to shout out my friend Diane. And I actually met Diane at a meet and greet I did for the viewers of my channel when I lived in Florida. And she and I connected and we ended up going kayaking. Really fun day out at Rainbow Springs with some of her family members. We had a great day. We weren't able to connect after that because she was traveling when I was doing something. Anyway, she left a comment that was so sweet. I want to read it to you guys. It says, I'm so loving this new format you are doing with your channel. It's very healing and therapeutic. And I'll tell you what, Diane, that just meant the world to me when you wrote that. Thank you so much. And if I can have that impact on just one person, kind of makes the whole thing worth it. In one of my recent videos, I suggested that all of you start stocking away little 1s and 5s and 10s and just keep them for when you're going to need them. And someone says, can you explain what the cash tip was about? So yes, I will explain what the cash tip is about. And I didn't go into it because I didn't want to freak anybody out. I just wanted you to have it when you're going to need it. But I'll explain a little bit now, and it might make more sense now that kind of the craziness level on the planet has gone off the charts. If you have 1s and 5s and 10s and a whole bunch of coins that you've kind of socked away in a little safe place, you're going to be golden when the lights go out, the banks go down, the ATM doesn't work, that little keypad at the grocery store just mocks you because there's no one there. You'll have cash to buy the few things that you're going to need. And am I sure that's going to happen? No. Is anybody sure of anything lately? Could it happen? Oh yeah. It could happen. And I feel like just being prepared And being aware of the potential of things that can happen is a really good place to be, because you know what? It doesn't hurt anything to sock away those ones and fives and tens and all those little change quarters and stuff, because when you need something from the grocery store or from a local business, or if you're trading with someone on Facebook Marketplace and the whole digital world is silent, you'll be in good shape. Okay, I'm going to read this next one. It says, I love the holistic side of the channel, but would love some financial advice as well. And when I had talked about the cash tip, I shared that I have a background in the financial markets. That was actually my first real job as a financial planner with E.F. Hutton long ago. And I was married to a financial planner for 25 years. Day traded options on the CBOE after that. Just, kind of know, I'm familiar enough with the financial markets to be able to understand a discussion about it. That's for darn sure. And will I give financial advice? Oh, no. Absolutely not. For a few reasons, because first of all, that's not what I'm doing now. Second, I just would not want to step into that role at all. Third, I wouldn't want to even step my toe in as far as someone else's finances, because in my opinion, we are in as precarious a financial position as we have been in this country probably since the Great Depression. Things are really teetering on the edge, and all you have to do is look at the markets, like the silver market. Here's a chart right here. Or, like the Bitcoin market, here's a chart right here. You can see that things are particularly unstable right now. And why are they unstable? Well, I can give you my opinion. My opinion is that just about, I think about 100% of the financial markets around the globe right now are manipulated. You just don't see this kind of volatility in a market if they're not manipulated. This is not fair market trading. This is manipulation. And who's doing the manipulating? Well, the people that want all the money. That's who's doing the manipulating. The last thing they want is for the common folk, to have a prosperous life, because what does that mean? That means that there's some money they don't have. So no, I would not give financial advice at all right now. However, what I can do, and this is helpful, so make note of this, this is helpful. I can share with you who I watch and follow. There's only two and a half, and you can find them right here on YouTube. The first is the Solari Report. That's Catherine Austin Fitz. And if you're on my email newsletter, my Sunday morning email newsletter, you've seen me share some information from her often. She's very, very sharp. She was the Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, in one of the Bush administrations. Really, really sharp gal. Don't take any political affiliation from that appointment. She is a lone wolf, and she is very independent in her thinking, and she's extremely bright. And of all the people talking right now, I feel like she's got the clearest bead on what's going on. She has a website. It's called the Solari Report. I think it's solari.com, and I'll have it listed down below. I've linked her before, I think, or maybe it's just been in my newsletter. She's really, really sharp. So I listen to everything Catherine says. And actually, I was fortunate enough to spend a weekend with her because I'm a member of Solari, and she did a workshop up in Florida, up in the panhandle of Florida. I was in Central Florida when I was living in Florida. So I went up there for the weekend and did her workshop. It was excellent. She's a great lady. She is working diligently for the people of this country and around the world. I mean, she doesn't have an agenda that is control-based. She has an agenda that's information-based and fair-based. Really, really like her. You can also follow her on X. She is bright and sharp, and you'll learn a lot from her. The second person that I follow, his name is Bix Weir, and he has a channel on YouTube called Road to Ruta. And don't worry about how that's spelled. I'll have it listed in the description box down below. If you go over there, let me just tell you, he looks like a ragamuffin. He looks like a ragamuffin. I think he's not cutting his hair until something happens. I don't know what the deal is, but he used to be in the, the financial industry. He is brilliant, particularly when it comes to the metals market. And he really keeps his finger on the pulse. And I follow Bix. I just about watch everything that he puts out. And then as far as, people in the industry, in the metals market, if you were looking to buy gold and silver, hands down, Miles Franklin, silver or gold, physical silver and gold in your possession. If it's not in your possession, you don't really own it. Someone else owns it, because you know what? When everything goes kaflunk, whoever's got the stuff owns it. So those are just the little tips I have for you. If you go follow those people, you're going to be, ahead of 99.999% of everyone you know. Someone asked what's going on with my thrifting channel. If you didn't know this, I actually had a thrifting channel for a while. It's still up there. I'll link it down below, where I took you along on my thrift trips. And then I have a shop online. It's studiokimberly.com. It's still there, where I would resell or sell the things that I found. And after a couple, 3 decades as an illustrator and, artist, I have a pretty good eye. So I found some good stuff. The answer to that question, am I going to be doing any more thrifting videos? That's kind of a mixed bag, because honestly, you guys, I'm in 400 square feet. I don't know where I would store the things and photograph them and ship them out. I mean, it would just be crazy to try to figure out how to do that, because as it is right now, if I want to do something different in my space, I got to move something else. It's like a constant game of Tetris in my place. So at least probably not for now. However, I do have an absolute ton of gorgeous jewelry. I for some reason, I'm good at finding jewelry, and I will put that up for sale sometime. I just don't know when. I've been kind of busy getting settled after the move and everything, and I wasn't really prepared to move. You guys have heard me say that over and over again. So I do have a ton of gorgeous jewelry. You've seen me wear some of the jewelry I have. I will be selling some of it. I just don't know when, but I'll keep you posted. But thanks for asking about that. I had so much fun thrifting, particularly with my sweet friend Suzanne from Swan Song Vintage. She has a little space up in Redmond, Oregon. I'll list her Instagram down below. We had so much fun. At least I had fun. I hope she did too. It was really a good time. So no thrifting videos for now. It's just a space thing. But I definitely do have a lot of gorgeous jewelry. Some of you might be interested in that, and I'll keep you posted if that gets up on the website and we're rolling again with that. I just bought some more yarn. I need more yarn, like I need a freaking hole in my head. I'm telling you what, but this is a special project. The little neighbor girl, she's so sweet. She comes by every day and brings me my mail from the mailbox. I think, it just makes her feel kind of grown up. And I think she really loves to pet Lucy, because Lucy gets so excited when she shows up with the mail, and they have a little moment, the two of them together. So the last time she was by, which was yesterday, I kind of sort of said, so what's your favorite color? And she said pink and purple. So I'm going to go ahead and crochet her just a little bag as a thank you for always bringing my mail. She's so sweet. So this brings me on to the topic that I've been yammering on about all winter long, is crocheting. I'm just having such a good time. I actually started crocheting when I was living in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. And for some reason, I woke up one morning out of the blue and just needed to learn how to crochet. I have no idea. I still look back at it and wondering, what the heck was that about? I'd always been an illustrator, a painter, drawer, that sort of thing. I did ceramics for a while. But this was, one of those burning desires, which was harder to do in San Miguel de Allende because you know, they don't have the same kind of retail, I don't know, abundance that we do in, you know, towns in the US. So it was hard to find a yarn shop, but I did. And then I learned how to crochet actually by watching YouTube videos. So that's when the whole thing started. And now it's sort of my comfort, my relaxation. Like when I get to sit down and just crochet and it's quiet in the house and I look out of the garden, oh my gosh, it's so peaceful. I love it. I wish I could do more of it. So you guys have been asking me about the patterns for my market bags. I've been crocheting a lot of, you know, market bags and the cowls that I do and stuff. I don't follow a pattern. I just wing it. I sort of, you know, look at what the thing is and I figure out, you know, how to do it. So I don't have a pattern. I'm sorry about that. And then some of you had said, can you teach us how to crochet? Oh my gosh, you guys, there are so many crochet channels on YouTube. I'm not kidding you. I learned so much from them and they're so good and they photograph it so well. So if you want to learn how to crochet, just type in beginning crochet on YouTube and you're going to find all kinds of fabulous information. That's what I'll do when I'm thinking I want to crochet this new thing. I will watch a channel that's crocheting the thing that I want to crochet and I'll just sort of figure out how they did it. You know, every now and then I'll buy a pattern just to give me an outline, but pretty much I just wing it. The other question I've had from you, and I'm in the car so I don't have them right now, is am I going to be selling all the bags that I'm making? And if you haven't been following me for a while, or if you're new here, I've been madly crocheting these like farmers market bags. They're really cute. And gosh, you guys, I think I've got like 10 or 12 now, and I'm going to have more, you know, soon because I'm still doing it. And I think I probably will sell them at the end of the season when I'm done hanging out, you know, in the colder weather crocheting and it turns into kayak time, which I won't be crocheting when it's kayak time and hiking time. It'll be, you know, intermittently at best. So I probably will sell them, just, you know, the price to ship them and the yarn that went in it. Maybe I'll pay myself $10 a bag or something like that, which figures out to about $1.10 an hour. I'm not a fast crocheter. Keep a lookout for that. When I do end up putting them up in the shop, I will put it in the email newsletter. So if you're not on the email newsletter list, you might want to be. It's listed in the description box down below, and you'll have first notice about when the bags are going to go on sale. I might even do a little video and show you each one, you know, because gosh, I probably am not going to need 30 farmers market bag, but you're gonna have to promise me that you're gonna go to the farmers market and buy local produce. So that's inherent in the purchase, that promise. Well, you guys, that's what I have for you today. I'm just heading into the pet store right now to get some things for Lucy. She's a golden doodle. Somebody asked me, what breed is Lucy? She's a golden doodle. She's 5 years old now, and I'm telling you what, that breed is the most amenable breed. She just goes along with anything. I have hauled her little furry fanny from one end of this country to another and to this house, and she's just like, all right, this is what we're doing now. So definitely a very, very sweet breed if you're thinking about it. However, you have to be prepared. They are Velcro dogs. In other words, they want your attention all the time, which sometimes can be, you know, not what you're looking for, but very sweet. They don't shed. They have hair, not fur. Really sweet. She's a great cuddler. That's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys. It just makes my day when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. Clocking 69. Started my channel when I was 63. So we've been doing this together for a while now. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye now.